Hi there and welcome back to another 10 degrees warmer video. Today we are going to be talking about Malaysia and how much money we budgeted and spent while we were there.
Let's talk about the money. Money!
If you're new around here, I'm Rob. If you are not new around here, then you are probably aware that my other half is missing. David is working on another project. So I thought I would do this video just kind of breaking down our budget and expenses while we were in Malaysia. We spent 50 days there, predominantly in Kuala Lumpur. Had a terrific time. We really loved it. But we just like to break down our expenses and kind of give you an example of what is possible for what you might spend when you go there. Before we get started, I always like to preface these money videos with, this is just our experience that we want to share with how much money we spent in places. We are not making any recommendations about how much money you should spend or what you should do with your money. You get to do whatever you want. There's no wrong answer. But sometimes it's just helpful to kind of see what other people are doing so you can kind of have something to gauge against. Also, when I talk about money, we're talking about our daily kind of living expenses. I don't talk about subscription services or travel insurance, that kind of thing, because it's so specific to each individual of what you're gonna carry or not have. So this is just kind of the categories of expenses that we have living day to day. So I'm going to kind of break this down. So like I said, we were there for 50 days, which is kind of an awkward number. So I'm going to give you all the raw data in the categories. And then at the end of the video, I will break that down. So it's kind of a per day expense. So it's kind of an easier number to wrap your head around. But okay, so the first thing I like to talk about is food. Food is one of the most fun things about travel, getting to try new cuisines and different flavors. So we were in Malaysia on eating out at restaurants, street food, that kind of thing. We spent a little over $366. And then on groceries, because we do tend to cook quite a bit, we'd like to stay in Airbnbs or hotels that have kitchens in them so we can cook. And on groceries, we spent a little over $313. So if you add that up, I'm doing this on the fly, but that's like $670, $680 we spent on food for 50 days. I will say I celebrated my 50th birthday while we were there. We were there with a lot of friends, and so we kind of splurged a little bit on that night. I think we spent about $50, just celebrating my birthday. We actually went out a couple times because there were so many people. It was very fun, fun place to celebrate your birthday. Another thing I like to mention about Kuala Lumpur is or Malaysia in general, because it is a predominantly Muslim country, you just have to be prepared that the taxes on alcohol are significant, kind of like Indonesia in that respect. So alcohol is just going to be much more expensive than if you went to neighboring countries like Thailand or Vietnam, where alcohol is much cheaper. For us, that meant we kind of didn't drink very much while we were in Malaysia. It's just kind of not our priority. But no, if it is your priority, totally fine, but you're going to pay a little more for it than you do, if you're in Thailand. Okay, next I'm going to talk about transportation. So we break this down into two categories just to kind of keep it clear. One is just local transport. So that's like getting on the subway, or if we get a Grab or an Uber, across town to go to a museum or something. And we spent $41.29 over those 50 days. And then we have onward transport, and this is sort of like coming from one place to another place. The distinction is minimal, but it makes sense in my brain. So this was coming, we took the bus from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, and then we took an overnight trip down to Malacca, and so paying for those buses and Grabs. That in total was $62.21. So just getting around, we spent a little over $100, not too bad. We did have an expense here that we haven't had so far. I did get a SIM card for my phone. And so we spent a little over $25 on the SIM card for the 2 months. I think the first month it was about $16. We had to pay a little bit extra to get the number, the actual physical SIM card. And then for the second month, I realized they kind of break their plans down by speed, how fast you want your internet to be. And I realized I wasn't really using it very much, kind of just to call the Ubers or the Grabs. And, wasn't using it outside of the apartment very much where we had Wi-Fi. So I downgraded the plan a little bit so it's cheaper the second month. But $25.30 for my phone. Personal, it's one of those categories where we bought, some mouthwash and toothpaste, and I think I bought a new t-shirt, stuff like that. So that was $28.52. And then finally, the one that everybody is, of course, always most interested in is accommodation. So we booked a Airbnb in Kuala Lumpur, which was terrific. We really enjoyed it. And originally we were only going to be there 30 days, and then we hadn't really made a plan, but we were looking at maybe going to Penang or Ipoh or somewhere else. But we ended up liking Kuala Lumpur so much we decided to stay. When we tried to extend our Airbnb, it was already booked, but it was through a management company, and they had another unit in the same building, but there was a 1-day gap of where it was not available, or we had to leave the current apartment before we could check into the new one. So we went down to Malacca for an overnight trip, which was super fun. Then we had to come back and check into the second apartment. The second apartment was a little bit smaller, but it had a really terrific view of the KL Tower. And we really enjoyed both apartments actually quite a bit. It was really easy. It was well located in Bukit Bintang. We really enjoyed it. So total we spent on accommodation, and this is going to include the 1 night of hotel down in Malacca, was $1,255.73. Actually, I'll just tell you, if you break that down by the 50 days, so we averaged $25.11 per night for our accommodation. This is right about where we budget for. We like to keep it under $25. We really like to keep it around $20, but living in Kuala Lumpur, I don't think we could have really done that without really sacrificing on quality. We were very happy with where we stayed, and we were very comfortable paying that. So if your brain works anything like mine, that number is a little bit random to try and put into context. So I'm going to break it down into a per day because for me, it just makes more sense to me. Before I do, just real quick, if you are new here and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. Please consider. It really helps out our channel. So thank you very much for that. So coming to Malaysia, our budget, what we wanted to spend was $50 a day. So for 50 days, that would be $2,500, which is a clue. We came in under budget. We were very excited about that. So our actual daily cost for Malaysia, and this is including everything, is $42.30. We were definitely very excited about that. And I have to say, we did not really have to sacrifice much. Our apartment was terrific. We ate so much good food. We had some very fun activities. It did break down, just in case you're curious, on food. We spent an average about $13.60 per day for both of us. So we did pretty good. I think Malaysia is definitely a very affordable place to go. There's so much going for it. I mean, I can tell you for sure we will come back to Malaysia. Definitely see that as a place we would consider potentially retiring to one day or staying long term. It is a nice place. You get it coming from the US, we have a 90-day visa there that's free. So it's very easy to come and check it out. We definitely recommend, if you're going to be in that area, you're going to want to check out Malaysia. I hope this video has been helpful. We do release a new video every Sunday. So thanks for hanging out with me, and we will see you next week. Today.